naysayers and the people who also agree. But all right, guys, let's go ahead and get right back into it. Let me see here. Oh.
Netanyahu, when he told Axios's Barak Ravid about his call with Benjamin Netanyahu when there was fire being exchanged again for the first time since March, since the ceasefire, between Israel and Iran yesterday. And Ravid says,
Rick, I'm sorry, you're just too dumb. You're too dumb. You are. I never said that Hezbollah wasn't, bro. I never said Hezbollah wasn't an Iranian proxy. I said that Hezbollah was around before it became an Iranian proxy. They started in the 80s when Israel invaded Lebanon. Did you know that? Talk about somebody that don't know history. It's like, dog. And I never made the argument that they weren't an Iranian proxy. We know they received billions from Iran. That's why they want to low-key leave Iran. That's why they want to leave Lebanon out of this. And they want to destabilize Iran so Iran can no longer further Hezbollah, or really enrich Hezbollah. Hezbollah is the strongest of their proxy forces. So, of course, they're all in when it comes to Hezbollah.
Trump tells him, quote, I said, BB, you better be careful or you will be on your own very soon. I'm just curious, Fareed, because obviously Trump has seen the precipitous and shocking and unprecedented drop in the approval rating of Israel in the United States, and certainly of the Prime Minister of Israel. So he knows that it's a political winner to take on Bibi, Prime Minister Netanyahu right now. What's the reality of their relationship? Does that quote reflect it or not?
I don't think so. I think Trump was letting off steam. I think partly he reads the polls just like all of us. And he's frustrated because the war is not going the way either he or Prime Minister Netanyahu expected it to go. I mean, the real story there, or the way to read it is, Trump is furious that the war is going badly. It is not in any way fulfilling the political goals that he thought he was.
Which is true. I mean, like I said, the Iranians still have control of the Strait. The regime is still in power. Their missiles are still operational. Drones are still operational. I mean, what goals have been completed? Oh, yeah, we still haven't collapsed that damn economy of theirs. So nothing has really went our way. But I'll tell you what Iran did. They've been able to, close the Strait of Hormuz. They've been able to destroy military bases and embarrass us on the world stage.
Going to achieve. Bibi Netanyahu sold him a bill of goods that turned out to be phony. And so there is some frustration with Netanyahu, but I think it's mostly just frustration that they were going to remember. The whole idea was they were going to cause regime change in Iran. The people of Iran were going to have a chance to finally be rid of this 47-year dictatorship. President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu, in the months after June's attacks, they were like, Hamas is crap.
So crazy. Nicole, you're funny. You're actually funny because it's like, you know what? Their borders wouldn't really need protecting if Israel wasn't attacking them. Like what part of Israel's broken the ceasefire with Hezbollah multiple times? Hezbollah didn't break the ceasefire with Israel. Israel broke the ceasefire with Hezbollah, aka they struck first. While Hezbollah was just chilling, they struck them. Like, what part of that is hard for you guys to understand? It's like y'all be so busy chilling for Israel. So, bro, I don't know. Maybe y'all just don't know history either. Because like I said, the whole reason why Hezbollah even exists, if you hate Hezbollah so much, you hate how they're a threat to Israel, then you got to blame Israel because they created Hezbollah through their aggressions in the 80s. I mean, if they'd have never tried to invade Lebanon, Hezbollah wouldn't exist. And also those Marines who got bombed in those barracks wouldn't have got bombed either because they was only there because of Israel's war in Lebanon.
Has been destroyed. Hezbollah has been destroyed. The Iranians have been crippled. And yet, look at the world we're in. The Iranians are in a pretty strong position in the Gulf. Hezbollah remains in Lebanon, and in fact, Bibi Netanyahu's war against it may have actually given it some support. And Hamas is still in Gaza.
And Iran, according to what we hear every once in a while from the Trump administration, their Navy shutting things down, even though it's been at the bottom of the sea several times.
Right. I mean, the fundamental lesson here is there is only so much you can achieve with military power. If you look at the situation in Gaza, you have to have a political alternative, Palestinian leadership you are willing to trust, and give, and that is legitimate to the Palestinians. In Hezbollah, you have to work with the Lebanese government and find a way with the Shia community to find somebody to. And with Iran, you actually have to have a plan that involves Iranians on the ground who are willing to do something about their just bombing.
That's not happening. Like, bro, I know it's like Mark Levin, Lindsey Graham, they're all trying to say, oh no, we need to arm the Iranian people, but that's not going to work. And they just don't know the politics and the demographics of Iran to, well, make that statement or honestly to push that agenda. Because let's be real, the problem with Iran is that, one, you got to understand the parties in Iran, the principalists and the reformists. There's two parties. There's the pro-IRGC party and a party that's also pro-IRGC, but they're a bit for more reforms. They're the people who push for more like closer relationships with the West, women to pushing for women's rights and all this good stuff. This is why, I mean, Iran, low-key has some of the most educated women. Shout out to the reformist crowd. But the main problem is that if we try to sit there and invade Iran and we start to sit there and arm these folks, like, who do we have to trust? We don't know. Oh, but I'll tell you what we do know. We know that there are 61 million people in Iran that's willing to register an election that ran by the Ayatollah. 13 and only 30 million of those people participated. 13 million of those voted for the pro-IRGC candidate, the principalist candidate. What does that tell you? That's 13 million people confirmed that's not going to be okay with us arming the citizens that are against them. And here's the thing. We're not even sure about the reformists. We're not even sure if all of them want to go along with us because they voted for a candidate that, once again, was chosen by the Ayatollah, chosen by the religious clerics. So trying to arm people in Iran is honestly a bad idea because, in my personal opinion, I don't think that we have the numbers. I don't think there's the numbers there. Like the Iranian Revolution popped off of like what, 1 to maybe 3 million people. We don't got that in Iran.
And hoping has turned out.
And for the other point as well on Israel breaking multiple ceasefires, because it's absolutely hilarious how some people don't know that. But let's see here. There's no single agreed upon number for how many times Israel has broken the ceasefire with Hezbollah. I know they broke it so many times, it's hard to count, guys. As tracking agencies, international bodies, and involved governments use different reporting metrics. Reports vary. United Nations, UN peacekeepers have documented more than 10,000 Israeli airspace violations and over 2,500 ground violations. France, within days of the truce, the French government reported 52 Israeli violations. So let's, oh man, it gets even worse. Media and think tanks, investigations by media outlets like Al Jazeera and independent data monitors have tracked between 660 to 2,740 separate Israeli violations of the agreement, including ongoing ground incursion and airstrikes. But oh no, oy vey, we're the victims. Okay, bro. Okay. It's like, come on, bro. Everybody know this, I guess, but them.
Not to be a strategy.
Yeah. Bombing and hoping, and to summarize it so well. Thank you so much, Fareed.
Barak, I know you reported that the U.S. was nearly pulled back into a full-scale war by the fighting between Israel and Iran over the past few days. How close did that actually get?
I think it got pretty close because the Israelis on Monday were planning a massive strike on Iran, a wave of strikes that included more than 50 fighter jets that were supposed to fly to Iran and drop and launch airborne ballistic missiles towards many, many targets, including very sensitive ones that have to do with Iran's infrastructure. And I think that if that strike would have happened, there was the risk of escalating back into an all-out war was really great. And I think that was the point that President Trump basically shut it down by telling Netanyahu, that's it, you can't do that. And Netanyahu had to accept and told his generals that they have to abort mission. And one of the things President Trump told me yesterday that he told Netanyahu during their conversations over those dramatic 24 hours was that he needs to be careful because if he goes too far, he might find himself fighting Iran on his own.
We're negotiating now, and they want to make a very good deal. They're willing to give us.
I guess I can grill you one last time, Rick, because it's kind of wild how you don't know this. So here's the thing. When I said that Israeli aggression literally created Hezbollah, what part of this don't you understand? So let's get into it. The group Hezbollah was formed in 1982 by the Lebanese Shiite militants during the chaos of the Lebanese Civil War and the Israeli invasion of Lebanon. So why were they created? Because of what? Lebanese Civil War and the Israeli invasion of Lebanon. And because of this Israeli invasion of Lebanon, Iran took it apart themselves to go ahead and take advantage of that. Yes, the turmoil that Israel caused in Lebanon opened the door for Iran to start funding their favorite groups and thus created Hezbollah. So how was Hezbollah created? Through what events? And what events enacted by who? Say it for me now. Israel. I mean, come on now. But all right, let's get back to it. I guess I'm done grilling these guys. Like, man.
Everything. They're willing to give us no nuclear weapon. I think we're winning that battle, but you're really going to win it over the next 2 weeks when we declare total. It'll be a total victory.
If that sounds familiar, it's because it's not the first time the president has made promises about how quickly he expects to see significant progress in this war.
I think we're 2 or 3 weeks. We'll leave.
Right from the beginning, we projected 4 to 5 weeks.
I'm talking about days.
I think so.
Okay. We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks.
And it didn't work out too well.
This comes as the president had not 1, but 2 phone calls in a matter of a couple of hours with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Sources say that before that second call, Israel was actually preparing for a significant attack on Tehran, that the intervention by the president appeared to have worked. As Prime Minister Netanyahu later announced afterward, Israel has halted its attacks on Iran for now. Joining me now is the Israeli ambassador to the United States, Michael Leiter. And Ambassador, it's great to have you here. Why, in your view, was the president successful in getting the prime minister to call off these strikes?
Well, that's an assumption. First of all, it's very good to be with you, Caitlin. We hit Iran back very hard. Iran fired ballistic missiles into our country. No self-respecting country in the world would allow a malign country to fire ballistic missiles into its territory. They did. They could have killed hundreds. They could have caused mayhem and destruction. And it's very clear that we're going to respond. We did respond. We hit them back hard, and we'll do so again if they choose to fire ballistic missiles into our country.
Well, obviously, as you heard the prime minister, I mean, he did say earlier that that Israel is stopping its attacks on Iran for now, but said he reserved the right to restart them. You heard the president say there he expects that they'll declare total victory in 2 weeks. Does Israel believe the United States and Iran are 2 weeks away from ending this war?
Well, we certainly hope so. The important thing is that the war ends in such a way where Iran can no longer threaten the region and threaten the world. This is a malevolent government that's been in power for 47 years and has destabilized the region and has caused mayhem upon all the countries in the area. If we can end this war where Iran no longer has a nuclear weapons program, no longer has a ballistic missile program that can hold the world hostage, and no longer supports its proxies like Hamas and Hezbollah, and if that can be achieved through negotiation and a deal, then the war will be won, whether it's in 2 weeks or 2 hours. But we're hoping that that's the outcome. No longer to have this malevolent government coming out of Tehran, these madmen of Tehran who shoot ballistic missiles into their neighbors. This has to stop.
Well, I mean, in terms of what a deal is going to look like, the president told the Financial Times that Netanyahu won't have any choice but to accept any deal that he strikes with Iran. He says, quote, I call the shots, he doesn't. Is the president right?
Well, obviously, the president of the United States calls the shots. But there's a wonderful relationship between the president.
But it's funny though, the pro-Israel crowd didn't really like that though. They didn't like Trump's tone on pretty much telling Bibi, step down, don't do it. And of course, everybody in Bibi's cabinet, or yes, Netanyahu's cabinet, was pretty much like, oh, Tehran must burn. We got to get our get back. We got to strike them now. And I'm being quite honest with you. I get it. You do have to save face in situations like that. But when it comes to actually trying to get a ceasefire with Iran, which it does seem like Trump is desperate for, and Iran has already gave their march in order for Trump to get it. Go ahead and tell Israel to chill with Lebanon, and we'll go ahead and give you the ceasefire. And I mean, if Israel wants to maintain being our greatest ally, they would chill out with Lebanon so we can get the ceasefire, right? Because they're our greatest ally, right? Right, guys? Are we still maintaining that BS?
And the prime minister goes back some 40 years. I'm privy to those conversations that the prime minister has with the president, and they are cordial and they're friendly. And look, we entered this war against Iran together, and I think we're going to end it together on the same page. We have pretty much aligned interests, and here and there are some differences of opinion that need to be ironed out, and they're done so in a very respectful and friendly way. We were hit with ballistic missiles. We had to respond. The president understood that. And the prime minister understood that the president has a much broader agenda in the context of his negotiations. And we don't want to get in the way of that. So both needs of both countries were tended to by a discussion between the two leaders. And I think that's the best way that a relationship and that a sense of camaraderie and leadership can be worked out.
I mean, the quotes coming out of those phone calls don't always seem very friendly, as you put it.
A bit aggressive.
Well, Caitlin, you know, drama sells. I understand that, particularly in the media. But, you know, they have had hundreds of hours of conversations over the past year and a half. And, you know, to cherry pick one expression, and after all, Caitlin, you know, lovers do have spats, so they could have a little bit of a testy exchange, but that doesn't mean that the level of friendship and look at the level of collaboration between our two countries. There's no other country in the world that flew shoulder to shoulder and wing to wing with the United States of America, but Israel. We've never asked for your boots on the ground. We fight our wars. And when the United States said, we need your help in fighting Iran, we were there. We didn't close our airspace to you like France or Spain. On the contrary, your planes are parked in Ben Gurion Airport right now. So we are a very close ally. We're a junior ally, but we're a model ally.
No, I don't know about that. I don't know about a model ally. Junior ally for sure, but model ally? Nah, not you. You know who's a model ally? You know what? Qatar. Qatar is a model ally. You don't know why? Qatar doesn't get us into no bullshit. They invest in our AI, they invest in our weapons. And I mean, come on, it sounds like a way better ally than Israel. I mean, they don't drag us into no wars. Oh man, and they help prop up our petrodollar through using only our dollar to sell their oil. I mean, that just sounds like a way better ally than Israel. Let's just be real. That's a better ally right there. Sure, you know, the whole Muslim thing, but I mean, let's be real. Just take out the Muslim thing, take out that, and they're better allies. And honestly, you shouldn't even have to take out the Muslim thing. It honestly shouldn't matter. But hey, it is what it is.
I understand that you're a diplomat, but I mean, it's not just one or two quotes. I mean, the president himself told Barack Ravid that he warned Netanyahu, quote, "You better be careful or you'll be on your own very soon if you don't follow the orders and halt the strikes," is what he was referencing to. Obviously, they reported earlier that he asked him what the F.
Hold on. No. It's kind of funny how people are trying to say, oh, well, Qatar does this, that, and the third. I mean, has Qatar ever bombed the U.S. ship? The USS Liberty. Remember how Israel bombed that ship? Has Qatar ever did that to us? Has Qatar ever been caught spying? Actually, did you know that the Pentagon raised Israel's threat level for spying like, what, a day ago? Did you know that? So it's kind of crazy how everybody has all this to say about Qatar, but as soon as you bring up Israel, crickets. I don't ever hear that. But let's get into that Pentagon assessment of Israel, because that's actually does need to be brought up again. Because how do y'all not know this stuff? How can y'all sit there and have this criticism of Qatar when you kind of put the two together? Yeah, Qatar is looking like a better ally and more trustworthy as well, believe it or not. But all right. Pentagon raises Israeli espionage threat to critical level. Like, dog. And then of course you got what? let's see here. U.S. Israel. What are the alleged allegation of espionage about? So pretty much, Israel was getting caught up spying on top military officials and trying to understand where they were leaning when it came to the Iran war. That's what they were doing. So, and that's our ally, guys. Was Tucker? Was Tucker Candace Owens doing that? Was Qatar doing that? No. It was our so-called greatest ally. I mean, we can go straight to the article. F it. Let's just go straight to the article because it's actually pretty funny. Shout out to the Jerusalem Post for trying to deny it, but yeah. The Pentagon is increasingly concerned about Israel's ramping up its spying on the U.S., recently raising the counterintelligence threat level from Americans' top ally in the Middle East to the highest level, according to 2 U.S. officials and 1 former U.S. official. The Pentagon's Defense Intelligence Agency in recent weeks issued the new counterintelligence threat assessment amid rising tensions between Israel and the U.S. over the way forward in the Iran war, the official says. I mean, man. But they're our greatest ally, guys. Remember that. Remember.
He was doing last week, saying that everyone hates you, everyone hates Israel because of this. I mean, are you saying that the president didn't say those things to the prime minister?
I wouldn't get too carried away with reports of one journalist or another who may have a particular agenda. The fact of the matter is, again, they've met 7 times in Washington, once in Jerusalem.
And it's funny how the two are crashing out in the chat. Like Nicole and Rick are crashing out from the chat, but they still can't say how Israel's a better ally than Qatar. Like I said, prop up our economy, buys our weapons, don't drag us into conflicts. Actually, that's prime. I mean, Israel helped drag us into that Iraq war, by the way. Remember, he said that there would be positive reverberations if Saddam was taken down. Cost us trillions of dollars, by the way. I mean, the Qatar ain't never done that. Qatar ain't never got caught spying on us. They ain't never got caught buying politicians. There's no politician out there talking about how, oh, we just need to take out whoever Qatar's enemies are. No, but we are doing that for Israel. Funny though. But all right. Let's get into our guy, Professor Pate. Because I ain't gonna lie, he did